Hi class, this is Ubaid Khan. So I welcome all of you in our second session of our class. In previous session we have started the chapter, very first chapter of our 8th standard, that is crop production and management, and we have discussed enough things, what is mean by the crop production and what is mean by crop, what are the kharif season, what is rabi crops, which crop we have to develop or grow in which season. So now we will start with agricultural practices to, if you want a more, if you want to manage our food production, because day by day the population is increasing, so we have to also increase some practices, we have to develop such kind of the practices which can be uh, increase our yield of a crop. Okay, so that is why we having some such kind of the agricultural practices, and there's basically seven types or seven methods we having. So number one, preparation of the soil. Number two, sowing. Number third, addition or adding manure and fertilizer. Then irrigation. Then protecting from the weeds, harvesting and storage. So these are the basically seven agricultural practices. If some farmers or if someone will using or following this kind of the practices, so surely we can improve our production or our yield of crops. So we will start, let's start with preparation of the soil. So what will come under the preparation of the soil? If you see, when we want to start or when we want to grow a crop in our soil, that is why we have to first of all prepare the soil, and that is very important process. If you see some land that is not in use, some field not in use, so we will find some kind of the weeds and some unwanted grass, some herbs and shrubs will be developed over there, and also the surface of the soil will become very harder. So if you want to start the sowing process, if you want to do the agriculture over there, so we have, first of all we have to prepare. In the preparation, that removing the weeds and plowing and making, turning up the soil, making the soil smooth, that will allow the aeration, these all the things will become into this preparation of the soil. So this is very important. That is, first of all I want to show you, that is soil loosening. Okay, so we want to loosen it. When we want to loosen it, we have to use some such kind of the means instrument we have to use. So basically the farmers are using a plow, that is everybody know what is plow. Whenever we are visiting, everyone have visited somehow in our life field, so we have seen over there the farmers are using such kind of the things, that is called the plow. With the help of the plow, that easily loosening of the soil allow the roots the breathes easily. What are the advantage when we are loosening of the soil with the help of the plow? So it will making the soil very soft, that is soft soil will provide uh, easy penetration of the roots. When we sow the seeds, so seeds initially what the roots are coming from the plant or new plant, that is called the seedling, that is very delicate. So we need the soil loosening. So loose soil will allow the roots to penetrate inside the soil easily, and it can be withstand with all the condition, can we take the water from the soil and everything. Now the second thing, loosened soil helps in the growth of the earthworm and microbes present in the soil. Now what is the advantage of the earthworm? We already know. We already know the earthworm is a friend of the farmer, because earthworm when is moving inside the soil, it will making the way or space inside the soil, so that is allowing the aeration, that is allow the air is moving inside the soil, that is good for us. And some other organism is a microorganism which needs the oxygen or which need the air, that will also grow. And some other organism which can be fix the nitrogen for the plant, that is example of rhizobium bacteria. So rhizobium bacteria and blue green algae, they are the organism or examples, because the plant need nitrogen, but plant or we also, we do not take the nitrogen from the air, even it is present in 78% in the air. That is why the plant needs such kind of the organism which can be fixes the nitrogen and provide to the plant in the absorbable or usable form. So that is also grow into the soil if the soil having more aerations. And these microorganisms are friend for the farmers, since they further turn the loose the soil and add the humus. Now humus is a very important thing, because always we are listening, if the soil having more humus layer, it is good for the plant will grow it very well, plant will get the more minerals from that. So that is a humus is very important, and it will be increase with the help of this kind of the microorganism. Okay, so but why does the soil need to be turned and loosened? These are the reasons what we have studied already, that will allow the flow of the air also, aeration is also there. With the help of the some organisms will be grow, that is good for the plant. So you have learned in previous classes already that minerals, water is all needed and present in the soil, and some living organism. In addition, the dead plant and animals get decomposed by the soil organism. Now if the organisms are there, it will also help in the decomposition of the plant and dead animals. So what are the advantage of this decomposition with the microorganisms? Number one, it will clean our environment. Okay, if there is no decomposition by the this kind of the organism, so it will make the our environment very you can say the dirty. The dead bodies of the plant and animal will remain as it is in our surroundings on the soil. So that is why first of all they are cleaning the environment, and second thing, whatever the nutrients are there from the dead bodies of the animal and plant, that will replenish into the soil, that again help into the means enriching the nutrient level of our soil. So that is the advantage of this kind of the nutrient, that is, and this all the nutrients will be finally absorbed by the plant only. So plant will get the more nutrients, and plant can be grow very easily. Okay, so now since only a few centimeters of the top layer we know already, that is the humus layer, which is the present into the topmost layer of our soil, that is called the topsoil. In that only few centimeters of the layer, that is called the humus layer, and that is providing the more means advantages for the good growth of the plant. So that is why we have to do this all the preparation of the soil. That is the advantage. Now we will turn on to the next page, that is the turning and loosening of the soil is very important for the agriculture of crops. Why? Because the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called the tilling and plowing. Because everybody visited to the farm, and we have seen the instrument that is called the plow. Plow is an instrument which always used by the farmers for the turning and preparation of the soil. Okay, and basically it is having with the wooden or iron, that is a traditional plow. Also nowadays we are using some other techniques also. So if the soil is very dry, so farmers can be use some watering also before the plowing, that will make the soil a little bit soft, so the plowing process will be do easily. Okay, and while the farmers is doing the plowing, the soil will make some kind of the crumbs, that is the big crumbs, that is also necessary to break the crumbs, and that is made by the plank. The plank is also one of the part that will make that crumbs crush, and it will make that crumbs will be dissolved, you can say. So this field again we have to use the leveler, because this crumbs and all the plowing process will make the turning of the soil. So after that we have to use some the name is leveler. If we are using this leveler, we can make the soil in one level. That is also come under the preparation of the soil. And sometimes the manure added to the soil before tilling, so this helps in the proper mixing of the manure. If some farmers he want to spread the manure, it is a natural fertilizer, you can say, which can be made in a naturally by the cow dung in the field only. So if the farmers want to spread the manure in the soil before starting the growth of the plants, so it can be it's a good time to add the manure, because with the help of the tilling, with the help of the at the time of preparation of the soil, the manure will be mixed properly into the soil. That is why we can mix the manure also at this time, and water before sowing also. If we are watering before the sowing the seed into the soil, that is also an advantage, because it will make the soil soften, and that is easily that is allowing the process easy. So now we will talk about the agricultural implements. What are the major points we have to be keep in your mind when we are doing this kind of the agricultural practices? Which kind of the things we have to implement that can be give you a good result, that can be give you a good yield of your whatever crops you are growing. So before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break soil, the size of the grains, and to get better yield. Now this is the very important thing, you have to select a good kind of the seeds. If you are not selecting a good kind of the seeds or grains, and you are doing this, so it will not give you more and more advantages. So this is done by the help of the various tools. The main tool used for this purpose are plow and hoe and cultivators. When we want to prepare the soil, we have to use such kind of the things. So we can use the plow, we can also use the hoe and cultivator. This is in the picture, you can also see the easily. This is the picture of a farmer which is using the plow. Actually plow, everyone it's a friendly, I think, because everyone have seen this in our fields. Always we are visiting the villages in our relatives, so we can see we have already seen there. So this is the main point, that is having the plowshare that is going inside the soil and which is helping into the tilling or turning of the soil. This is the main we can say the part of that hoe that can be add or that can be going into the soil, and this is attached with this kind of the plow shaft. This is called the plow shaft, and the finally it is attached with one the beam, and the beam is nothing but which is we are putting onto the shoulders of the bull, and that is can be easily providing the hold for this hoe, and the bull can be take it with them. So this is a plow which is helpful into the turning of the soil. Now the next we will see hoe. This is the picture of a hoe. Works like a blade and it is pulled by the animal. This hoe is also pulled by the animal, and that is hoe is fine, that is actually used for the purpose of providing such kind of the things. Before that we will just start here. What is plow? This is also a technique, a tools used in our fields. So this is being used since the ancient times. People before the ancient people also doing this, using this kind of the technique, that adding the fertilizer. At the time of the adding the fertilizers also we can be use the hoe, but basically it is used for removing the weeds. And what is weeds? Weeds is a undesirable and unwanted plants, herbs and shrubs are grow on the soil that is not required for us, and that is scraping of the soil, etc. This kind of the things which can be removed from this with the help of this hoe. And this implement is made also made by the wooden or drawn by a pair of the bulls, like our plow. Same techniques we can be used for this, or other animals like horse and camel we can be run this hoe, and it contains the strong triangular iron shaped stripe called the plowshare. If you can see the diagram also, we can be understand what is a plow. Okay, now this plow we have already seen the diagram or the picture of this plow, okay, with the bull or some kind of the other animal which can be we can be use this kind of the hoe. Okay, so the and now again we will discuss about the hoe. Hoe is the next thing. It is made up of a simple tool which is used for the removing the weeds and for loosening the soil, and it has a long rod of wood or iron. So a strong, broad and bent blade of a hoe is used in our there with the iron. This is also made up of the iron and fixed to the one end of its end with some animals which can be also run this hoe. And now this is the diagram of the hoe. This before we have started. This is the diagram of our hoe or picture of our hoe. That is also majorly we have to see, that is having the gripper, then handle, then this bend. This is bend plate. This bend plate is adding or going inside the soil and making also helping into the turning of the soil also, and again especially it is removing the weeds. And the next, this rod is attached here with some kind of the means machine or some animals can be attached to that to use there. Okay, so this is called the hoe. Next we will start with cultivator. Cultivator is nothing but the new modern technique or new technique for a plow. Okay, plow is a very old method or ancient people are using the plow, but here we can use the cultivator. Nowadays plowing is done by the cultivator, that is driven by the tractors. Okay, so tractors will be run this. The use of this cultivator save the labor time. Now actually this is a machine, and already we know machines are using for the saving our time, and a less time with a less effort we can be do our work. So the same thing will be happen here. The cultivators driven by a tractor, and that is called the cultivators, and it's also doing the same thing like our plow. But plow is very time consuming, plow will take the more time. So we can use this kind of the techniques which is save our time and labor work also. right. So this is up to here we have seen all the techniques and what are the things we have to do which is helpful for preparation of soil. And